under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if we could please have a few moments in silence for Herman Saldana, Ronnie Reinhardt, Gilbert Gamboa, and Leon Ozark. Please be seated. Announcements and written communications?
I'll do the roll call.
Oh, you can do that too.
Councilmember Lavelle,
Here.
Councilmember Schickling,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ponce,
Here.
Mayor Marshall,
Here.
and for the record, Councilmember De La Rosa is absent.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on to announcements and written communications.
I have one announcement. The City Clerk's office has received a number of inquiries regarding the tally of write-in votes. These votes are all tallied by hand. As of March 13th, 14 ballots had writing or were write-in ballots, and they were identified by LA County. Write-in results are scheduled to appear on the county's election website, lavote.gov, sometime the week of March 25th. LA County is currently scheduled to certify the election results on March 29th, and the City Clerk's office hopes to certify the election at our April 2 regular City Council meeting.
Thank you. Okay, department head reports?
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members, and City staff. Jackie Cordero, Public Works Director. The Public Works crew started with weed abatement, and this all has to be completed by June 1st per LA County fire requirements. There's quite a bit that we're doing. As we all know, it's been quite a rainy season, so there's quite a work out there. But we're working on that. We started repair on the top portion stairs on Bonita Way. The old wooden stair treads, railings and stringers were removed, and the crews have been rebuilding the new stairs and railings. They're moving fairly quickly and hopefully are done by this week. We are continuing the electrical work, providing power to the charging stations for the new Coast, City Gem shuttles, and Ford E-Transit vans. This work must be completed by April 1st. The Hiawatha sinkhole is, that's a big undertaking. We currently have that barricaded off while we continue work, and currently working with the homeowners for access. We're ordering some really robust shoring equipment and scoping out the work with a contractor. The repair is extremely deep, as I mentioned last time. It is so deep that our own equipment can't reach. So this is a concrete storm drain that's 3 or 4 feet wide, about 50 feet in length of repair, and 12 feet deep. That concrete storm culvert or drainage is collapsed, so the extent is really extensive, or the work is really extensive, excuse me. Another really cool thing that we're doing, our team has met with Edison and the Catalina Island Company to go over facility storm runoffs. I mentioned that at last meeting. Those meetings went really well. And you know, as I mentioned before, the wastewater treatment plant was really inundated early February because of the storms. So our next meetings are scheduled to meet with large apartment complexes to also identify some of their storm and drain issues and hopefully help with some of those repairs. So we're actively working on that in the next couple weeks. Finally, the Public Works, Harbor, and fire crews, a couple of the fire crews completed some backhoe training, and that concludes our training for this fiscal year. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Any questions? No.
Thank you.
There's no way we can just bypass that big old mess up there on Hiawatha. No.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Since my last report, Tuesday, March 5th, Patrol moored 292 boats for a total of 1,394 nights, a slight uptick from last month. Patrol warned or advised 19 individuals of municipal code violations, issued 3 citations, assisted Baywatch 6 times, assisted the sheriff's 1 time, assisted Coast Guard 1 time, assisted the general public 61 times, completed 142 security checks of the facilities and surrounding waters. Thank you.
Questions? Okay, thank you. Put my glasses on for this. Hey, chief. Looking slick.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Staff. Michael Alegria, Fire Chief. In the month, last month, we ran 37 medical calls, 16 fire calls, total of 52. Last week, we held what we call like a call review with Harbor UCLA. So the nurses came over, trauma surgeon, and we reviewed 4 calls that we had flown off to their facility. And that went really well to see the CAT scans and see all the stuff they did at the hospital and how they're doing after. After that, we hosted a Stop the Bleed for city staff. A couple of you attended. We did one at 10, one at 1, and we're gonna push that out. Once I get the supplies, we're gonna push that out to the community. You may have heard him Saturday morning. Dave Long retired, so he took Old Engine 2 on one last drive around town with Annie. So thank you, Dave, for just over 20 years of full-time service. He has many more on that with County Fire and Search and Rescue. And then next, I'd like to introduce our newest firefighter, Shane Machado, 4th generation, growing up on the island, 21 years old. Had a short stint in the military, and Shane's start tomorrow at 9 a.m. in front of the station. We have a badge pinning where he'll get his badge, and we'll say a few words, and so we welcome Shane.
Yeah, welcome.
And as mentioned last week, Christian tomorrow starts his first shift as captain.
Excellent, excellent, okay.
Any questions?
No, so tell us about the new do,
So
because you should be very proud.
St. Baldrick's, we attended it last year, but no one shaved their head. We were on our way out to Indy for training, but we stopped by the Firefighters Union Hall, checked it out, said that's pretty cool. This year we attended it because the honorees, 1, my cousin Braden, and 2, Yoli's grandson, grandson Benjamin. So we had a huge showing of island personnel. It was 4 ladies shaved their head that had beautiful hair.
Yeah.
I don't know what color Andrea's is going to come back this time. But it was a great event, and we are looking forward to possibly hosting it on the stage next year. So
Excellent.
we'll kind of do our own. So it's coming back a little wider than I remember in places, but it was a really fun event.
Yeah.
The Long Beach Council was there, the mayor and everybody,
Sweet.
and
Okay.
Assemblyman Lowenthal.
All
So
right.
it was a well-attended event.
Yeah, there is a heck of a lot of money too, I understand.
They raised, yeah.
Yeah.
Long Beach has been doing it, and they've raised over $1 million
Nice.
since they've started, so
Sweet.
we're gonna hopefully start next year.
Yeah, excellent, okay. Well, Shane, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, City Staff. Since our last council meeting, we had 79 observations made by the deputies, 77 calls for service. There were 12 traffic stops, 4 pedestrian stops. During those calls, we had 2 arrests for drunken public. We had an arrest for violation of a protective order. We had a warrant arrest for annoying and molesting children, and we had a second warrant arrest for a petty theft. Currently, we're working with the LA County Youth Diversion Program and trying to use the program instead of anytime we get someone under the age of 18 in custody, and it reached certain criteria, not all crimes, majority of crimes, they can actually use the diversion now. So we had some issues in the past trying to get it to work, and now that we have it arranged properly, we can actually bring them into the station, book them, send them to the program, and then when they're successful with the program, their record is expunged, so it no longer has the criminal record. We're also working on donations to collect helmets for the youth in town. We want to get enough helmets to get a good supply. At least we're hoping about 100 helmets total, and then go to the school and try to get the kids that don't have helmets, you know, to put them on, and basically gives them no excuse to not wear them. And you know, at that point, we can start enforcing it a little bit harder than we're doing right now. Right now, we're doing a lot of warnings, and we're actually buying some helmets ourselves, but we're trying to get enough for all the kids in town to wear helmets. You know, with these bikes today going these speeds, it's only a matter of time before someone really gets injured. So that's the plan right now.
And hopefully you can teach them to know how to button the strap, because that seems they have it on their head, but it's not strapped on.
I agree. I've seen the same thing many
So
times.
if I have some at home, just bring them to the sheriff's station?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
If I have some helmets that I don't need anymore, just bring them to the sheriff's station?
Well, right now we actually have a vendor that's selling us brand new helmets for $15. So, and they're good quality helmets. They're basically at cost. We're
Okay.
just looking for some vendors to get them, and then they come in 2 different colors. So there's a red and a black, and we want to get as many as we can, and pass them on. We have a few people that we're working with now. We're looking for a few more donors, and that way we can get enough to hopefully give it to every kid, and have a few more at the station, you know, in case that we're having additional problems down the line. So we have a new deputy starting tomorrow. His name is Mike Evans. He'll be starting the PM shift. He's actually going to be attending the school's open house with me, and I'd like to meet him, come by, or you'll see him on the street, and I'll bring him by city council as soon as I can. He's going to be working Wednesday through Saturday typically, so, but I'll get him over here at some point. Any questions?
No, thank you. Okay. So Matt Baker's not in the house today?
Sadly, he's on vacation.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. On Saturday, March 30th, we will like to invite the community and all visitor families to Descanso Beach to our annual community Easter egg hunt. Children under 3 years old will go at 10 a.m., 4 to 6-year-olds at 10:15, 7 to 10 at 10:30, and 11 to 17 at 10:45. The Easter Bunny will be available for pictures from 9:30 a.m. until the end at 11:30 a.m. There will be a craft booth and a chocolate bar provided by Descanso Beach Club. Everyone, regardless of how many eggs found, will receive a goodie bag, and those who find the golden egg will win a basket full of prizes. April 5th through the 7th, the Wild Buffalo Race will be coming to Avalon. This is a one-man outrigger canoe race sponsored by SCORE, which is Southern California Outrigger Association, the same group that does the outrigger race, the Catalina Championships, and Puakea Designs, the ones that actually create the one-man canoes. They will run a short course to Long Point and back on Saturday. That's right, I said that's a short course. And then on Sunday, teams of 2 to 4 people will race across from Avalon to Newport. Our very own Devin Hart will be making the crossing as well.
Whoa.
So yes. Come and check it out this weekend.
Wow.
Speaking of outriggers, the Catalina Island Outrigger Canoe Club will be taking registrations online at the City of Avalon website. They will have an introduction meeting next Wednesday, March 27th, here at City Hall. If you're interested in joining the club, there are 2 groups. There's the recreational paddlers and a competitive paddler. You can just join and decide later whether you want to just be a recreational paddler or a competitive paddler. There is a seat for everyone in the canoe. Do you have any questions for me?
No, you need volunteers to help you stuff those eggs with candy?
I have them.
Oh, they're done, okay.
Yeah. Are you volunteering? Are you asking?
Well, if it's
Well,
already done,
actually, the eggs don't have candy in them. They
Oh.
go and they find the candy, and then they dump them off with us in the back, and we give them a big bag of goodies for
I
doing
see.
that.
Okay, well, if you
A
need
way to
help,
recycle and make sure everyone gets it. So,
if you need help stuffing bags, let me know.
all right. Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Jocelyn Francis, Assistant City Manager. As I mentioned at the last council meeting, the DMV has canceled their April visit. They have created an email address specifically for City of Avalon residents to use should they have any questions or they want to make an appointment in the San Pedro office. That email address is City of Avalon DMV appointments at dmv.ca.gov. Again, City of Avalon DMV appointments at dmv.ca.gov. That email address will be set up through April 12th. Alternatively, people can call 1-800-777-0133, and of course, folks can go online and submit paperwork and for registration renewals, etc., at dmv.ca.gov. That being said, it's vehicle season, so come on by Monday through Thursday. I feel like a lot of folks are waiting until the last minute this year. So just a reminder. And then on March 23rd at 9 a.m., the monthly litter pickup cleanup crew will be there at Wrigley Stage to go around town and pick up recycling and trash.
So there's no way, I know we talked about that kiosk and whatever,
Yeah.
the DMV kiosk. There's no way to get that to happen, you don't think?
Yeah, I have been working with the DMV on alternatives. It would require finding a vendor that's willing to come to the island to service the machine, and so it's, a discussion item for sure, but
Could somebody start that as a business here?
I can ask, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Because it sounded like they were private individuals, right? They're not DMV employees or anything.
As far as my understanding, that's correct.
Yeah, so if that's
Yeah.
an option, maybe somebody could pick up a little job.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions of Jocelyn? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Kelly Rebuffo, Contract Planner. I don't have a whole lot to update you on this month. We're continuing to move forward on the code updates for the housing-related items for the zoning code. Also moving forward on other code-related items that you'll be seeing soon. Tomorrow night's Planning Commission meeting is a pretty light one. We're going to have one item, which is a conditional use permit for the beer garden. They're looking to change their ABC license and also their hours of operation. And the Planning Commission will also be reviewing the 2024 annual growth policy. You will see that item at your April 2nd meeting, along with the finalized housing element annual report.
Great.
And that's all I have for this evening. Thanks.
Questions? Okay, I think we're good. City Manager?
Thank you, and I'll start by just quickly jumping on what Kelly had talked about, the Planning Commission meeting tomorrow. We were hopeful, ambitiously hopeful, to have some draft legislation or draft ideas for them for short-term rentals. We are taking another few weeks to make sure we're where we want to be with that before we get to them. So that's not going to be on their agenda tomorrow, in case anybody was interested. But we're still working away on that. We are very close, first week of April, to Circuit being on island. They'll be here the April 1st that week. They're installing all the equipment they need in the vehicles, and then those vehicles should be on the road by April 4th that week. So it's the City of Avalon Shuttle Transit, or Coast. They'll be, we had to come up with a cute name, so.
That's great.
They'll be on the street, all electric, the 5 micro transits and the Ford vans. By the end of the first week of April, we're very excited about that. We're gonna, as it comes out, we'll be rolling out information on the city website. We'll have a link to the app. I've already downloaded Circuit's app on my phone. It's very easy to navigate. It's great to use. You'll go to it, you'll see the City of Avalon, and you'll be able to easily maneuver through that. So we're very excited to have them on board and start working. In April, hopefully it'll be a slower month for them so they can figure everything out, and we're meeting with them regularly as they get going to make sure it's what we want to see. quickly, we have JMF, the restaurant RFP is out there. It's still, the last day they're due is April 1st. So anybody that's interested in participating in that, to make sure to get your response, your application into the RFP by April 1st. There is a walkthrough for any interested vendors to get up there and see the location, see the site, what the options are tomorrow, March 20th at 11:30. If you just want to get up there and see what the space looks like. Last week or 2 weeks ago on March 7th, I attended the LA County Sheriff's annual meeting for Contract Cities. It was a very informative meeting. It was a long way to tell you your rates are going up, but our rates are going up. We don't have the final number yet. I look forward to getting that, but you know, in Avalon, we do see, you know, our rates compared to other cities are lower, but ours are going to go up. And as soon as I get that, we'll consolidate that information and get that contract in front of council to take action. Because our current contract expires June 30th. And then finally, briefly, I just want to comment and update a little bit on what's going on with the hospital, simply because I've been involved in a significant number of meetings with hospital staff involving state legislators, county legislators, other participants. It's not our story or my story to tell necessarily, but we did have it here beginning of January, and I just want to briefly address it and let everybody know that the hospital staff is pursuing every option that's out there. I've been very impressed about how extremely diligent they have been pursuing our legislators and any funding agencies, and also pursuing to find any partners to take over the facility or to partner with them, and working on the other end, the legislative end, to change the funding mechanism, and they're getting a lot of traction with that. I really want to thank Assemblymember Lowenthal's staff and Assemblymember Lowenthal directly for taking up a bill and pursuing it, but all of those measures are going to take a little bit of time, and the hospital is also actively pursuing some bridge funding to ensure what we all want, and what we all want is to have that facility to stay open. So I just want to give a shout out to Jason, Bryce, Tim, and John for what they're doing. They're off island today because they spent all day to have an opportunity to speak for 1 minute at the supervisors meeting this afternoon. But I want to say that as I watched that meeting, their comments were well received by Supervisor Hahn, who did publicly state her support to do whatever she can do to try to keep that facility open. So that was great to hear. So you know, I would just let the residents know, you know, continue to support the staff at the hospital. They're moving in a great direction, very positive direction. I can't say that I've ever been more confident that it'll stay open than I am right now compared to where we were in January and late December. And that's it. That's all I have.
No, that's great. Thank you. That's a good update. City Attorney? Look at his,
I have nothing to report tonight.
oh, good.
Thank goodness.
Boy, he looks right. Okay. All right.
He
well,
needs a
thank
new
you.
camera.
God, Scott. Yeah, you should see the way you look from this end. He looks like he's got a skull cap on.
It's the filter or something.
Anyway, nice to see
I'm
you.
going to turn off my camera the rest of the evening.
I think that's a good idea. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Council member reports.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I was stopped by some senior citizens the other day, and when Dan Hunke was here, we had a senior program where they would do events for the seniors, and they were asking if it's something that we can bring back. Because some of these people are getting a little older and like to hang out, but they would do lunches, or they would go to the museum. They would do these events. I know that they'd gone up to the, they'd been, I think, out to Two Harbors and then up to the airport. But I was just wondering if it's something that we can look at bringing back and do an activity for seniors once a month or something. And then the other thing is I will be attending League of California Cities Policy Committee meeting on Thursday and Friday this week. So,
Okay. Mary?
Well, I was kind of busy. I went to the Stop the Bleed training that was really informative, really good, really easy, learned some new things. Thank you for doing that, and the chief and other firefighters got trained, so like you said, they will be doing that around town and coming to Edison, yay. I tend to just open cans of worms without even realizing. I went to the Conservancy meeting last night. It was the second of 3 that they're having the community conversations. And I posted on Facebook, to remind people, hey, go. So when I got home, people were like, and does anybody ever go to these things? So I said, yeah, I went. And it was actually very good. It was a small crowd, but it was indeed what they advertised, which was a conversation. They had no presentations, they had no mucky mucks. It was all the people that work here. And they did listen and pay attention and address people's questions. And there was one person that is a retired Conservancy employee that brought some really good points up, and Lauren was like, okay, yeah, I'm aware of that study, I'm aware of this, and yeah, I'll go back and review that. So I thought that was really cool. And when other people were pressing for other options, they said, well, we will entertain the idea of maybe ground hunting and maybe some sterilization. So, I mean, people just tend to poo-poo everything and be so negative, but it's like, I know this is a really sensitive issue and it's a really delicate issue and people have tons of emotion around it, but I'm one of those people that's like, I feel you need to hear the other side. You need to, if you're that passionate about it, this is your opportunity. It's not the casino, it's a small room at the trailhead, and you can voice your concerns and hopefully ideas, if you have ideas, so. Anyway, I thought it was really good. The next and last one will be April 8th at 5 o'clock at the trailhead. So I encourage everyone, if you feel passionate about this, just go with an open mind and talk to them and listen to their answers. So we all live here. Let's get along. I also attended the Police Community Forum that was held on March 6th, and I was very enlightened by that as well. You could feel the frustration from the sheriffs and deputies about what's happening because laws have changed so much that their hands are tied in a lot of ways. They do a lot of things, they take a lot of people in, but they get released immediately because of how the laws are these days. And they said that they see a lot of disturbing things on Facebook. People are quick to jump on Facebook and say, oh, this horrible thing is happening right here, but they're not in real time. The police can't monitor Facebook in real time or whatever. But they're like, when stuff like that comes in, how many calls do we get to the station? 0. So how can they get involved? How can they do something if we don't say something? So we all do know each other, and we all love and want to care for each other. That's one thing I love about this town. We all know whenever anyone gets sick, whenever anything happens, we all rally. So we have some troubled individuals here, and we all need to come together and say something and help the system. We've got Tarzana, the organization for, drugs and stuff like that. And, so we need to be a little more kind to each other, and we need to use the channels that we have available. The police are not going to come back in any kind of retribution or anything like that, but just saying, open your hearts. I appreciated their transparency. I thought it was really good. And then, in the spirit of transparency, I agree with everything you just said about the hospital. However, I am an elected official, and people do come to me to press for answers on certain things about the hospital. So when Carol Reynolds wrote the letter to the editor, people are really pressing me to get answers. And I don't think they were bad questions. I don't think there were anything that they can't answer, but, so the last meeting I reported out that I reached out to Bryce and Katrina and I hadn't heard back. Well, the problem with that was there was an email address problem, so there you go. But anyway, so we did set up a meeting, and in the spirit of fairness, I sent the questions ahead of time, and Bryce called me and abruptly canceled the meeting because he felt that he didn't have enough time to prepare, because I threw in a few more questions. But, so I said, well, just answer the ones that you can, and just leave the rest alone. And he didn't want to do that. So I just told him, just look them over, think about it, and when you want to reschedule, my door is always open. So I'll let you know if he decides to reschedule. And that's about it.
I attended Gateway City's COG on March 6th. I'm sorry, Sheriff's gentleman, that I wasn't able to make that meeting, but hoping to make the next one. I want to thank Jocelyn for setting up a time with us to meet with CR&R. We got to meet both Councilmember De La Rosa and I got to meet with Julie, Josh, and Carmelo and did a tour of the facilities. And Yesenia is actually working on getting education set back up with CR&R and the school to be able to do regular visits out there so that those in school understand what the process is for their trash and what happens to it and where it goes and all of that. And it was just a good reminder kind of where the height of the landfill is and what we can do and what you guys are working on right now. So thank you for taking the time to do that. Had several calls over the last 2 weeks with Bryce regarding the hospital, and want to thank Assemblymember Lowenthal's office and specifically Brian for keeping me in the loop on their conversations as well. They've been working hard on getting legislation through, as the city manager mentioned, but he's been super communicative on that, and also potential legislation regarding increases about Edison as well. And then also met with, at the Gateway City's COG meeting with Hector De La Torre, which led to the hospital. The hospital already had a meeting set up with LA Care, and so he went ahead and got some info from me and then additional info from Assemblymember Lowenthal's office as well. And so that sounds like it's part of the solution moving forward for funding, which is fantastic. So I just want to thank LA Care, the board there, and Hector De La Torre for working on that and being a part of the solution with us, which is great. Had a chance to meet with Jackie Cordero this week regarding Public Works and just kind of getting to know her and expectations and gossiping about the whole community with her. So she's all filled in now. Don't think she doesn't know, because she does. And no, we had a great conversation just about upcoming projects and training and how everything's going with the crew. And housing, of course, came up as a big topic of conversation. So it's continuing to be a thing, but we'll see what we can do. So her and her family are looking for housing. So if anyone has a 2 or 3 bedroom that they have available and would like to rent it to a great tenant, let us know. And then also was fortunate to attend the Stop the Bleed training with the fire department and Harbor UCLA Medical. Thank you, Chief Alegria, for getting that set up. Really learned how far you could stick your fingers into someone's leg. That's exciting to know.
Or neck.
Or neck. Yeah, no, well, neck's a tough one, but yeah. So it was an interesting training, and really thankful that you're working to get some of those kids into, especially for training for the staff, but into vehicles throughout the city. And I know that you're going to be going after grant funding for that, but also if we need to put some budget money aside for some of those kits or the replacement of items in those kits, please let us know. And then attended today, while I was working, the Board of Supervisors meeting to make a statement during public comment in support of the hospital regarding funding, and also attended the CPUC call for the 2 items with AT&T regarding the last carrier of resort, their request to pull out of parts of California, including our community and the island, and just brought up some points of what they should be doing first before they consider allowing that to happen. And I'm hopeful that that will happen. Also have a meeting tentatively set up for this Thursday or Friday with 2 members of AT&T leadership to discuss the whole account and what's going to happen if that's to happen and what would happen instead. And I'm just going to ask them for $30 million. So we'll see what happens there. Have Gateway City's COG coming up on April 3rd over town. And then have the Conservancy meeting I'll be attending on April 8th. So if you sign up, I'll see you there. And we'll also be attending a training opportunity seminar that's being put on by Gateway City's COG on April 12th. That's the first of its kind. Hector De La Torre is the CEO for Gateway City's COG, and he is pulling together people from the Port, Long Beach State, Long Beach City College, various education areas to determine what exactly it is that the region, the South Bay specifically, needs in terms of workforce training and what it is that students and young adults are not getting before they get to those jobs and applications. So it's hopefully a chance to kind of get an understanding of both what's available out there for people both living on the island and off the island, but also to start working on initiatives here in town that would support those roles because they'd be a direct path into employment. Yeah.
Might be nice to see if someone from the school would want to attend.
Yeah. Right now it's just COG members and city managers, so we'll bring back information, but then they're hoping to widen out the circle once they do this initial round of information. And then a few more things, sorry. So Jim Lujan is over also supporting the hospital today, so he asked me to just remind everyone that the Shred Day, Community and Member Shred Day, is happening on Tuesday, April 23rd. That's from 9 a.m. to 1:30, and the drop-off location is Avalon Freight Services. And this is if you want to have large volumes of paper shredded. So you can do Banker's Box at $7 per box, and the items will be barged to the mainland and shredded by Cora Data for official shredding, and then they'll provide a certificate of destruction for you. And then on Thursday, March 21st is the March Business Mixer for Love Catalina. That's going to be at Catalina Divers Supply from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You can RSVP by calling the chamber at 310-510-1520, or you can sign up online. It'll be catered by El Galleon along with a no-host bar, $10 for members, $15 for non-members and guests, and at the door it's $20 without an RSVP. And
So you said March 21st, so that's 2 days?
yes,
Okay.
day after tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, yes, tomorrow's open house already, which I can't believe. It's crazy. It feels like summer is right around the corner. But so I'll be attending that to support Kelton and other friends tomorrow night. And then last but not least, just a reminder that Pride is coming back on June 15th, and the amazing DJ Asha will be returning to headline along with a larger slate of performers than in past years. Events will run from noon until 10 p.m. on Wrigley Stage, with after parties in the works for other locations. If you would like to get involved with the planning committee, please email jim@lovecatalina.com. Catalina Pride 2024 is sponsored by U.S. Bank. And I don't know if everyone remembers from last year, but after about 7:30, when it started getting a little darker, the dancing going on around the stage was a whole lot of fun, and someone had it live on Facebook, and that was real fun to watch. So I would say just to get involved and get excited. There you go.
Okay, well, I did a couple of those events, and also we had the ribbon cutting for the Old Turner Inn, and it was absolutely fantastic. So anyway, that's all I have. Oral communication. This is an opportunity for members of the public to speak on items that are not on the agenda. You'll be limited to 2 minutes, and no action will be taken.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. The purpose of my appearance tonight is to ask for an ordinance relating to the 4th of
Can you pull the
July
microphone
Golf
down,
Cart
please?
Parade.
Pull the mic
There you
closer
go.
to your mouth. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear us better?
Yes, they
All
can.
right. Yeah. Purpose of my appearance tonight is to ask for an ordinance relating to the 4th of July Golf Cart Parade. Our 4th of July parade is, we all agree, one of the highlights of the summer season. And my own family has won 6 trophies. Very proud of that. Sadly, some folks have gone over the top, throwing water balloons and using water guns, not for fun, but for harm. Water balloon throwers last year, and they were mostly adults, and water guns were centered by the bank and by the judge's stand. It was really a bottleneck of stationary golf carts in that area because there's just thousands of people there at that time. They were announcing people's names and who the winners were. So we were all like sitting ducks right there. So anybody near us that had water balloons, water guns, we were a target for sure. Someone posted a comment on Facebook after the parade regarding the water balloons, and some of the comments were balloons were thrown into the tuba of a USC marching band member. Deputy Sheriff Gibson, in uniform, was drenched with water. A 2-year-old child was hit by a balloon, and others said their cell phones were hit by water. Most attempts were made to shoot the decorations off the golf carts. And most of those are just held on by chewing gum and tape anyway. All we need to do is make it from the casino to Clarissa, and we're home free. So to try to knock those off after we've spent so many hours on them for everybody is just is not good. The Harbor Patrol was cleaning up balloons in the harbor for days. And my own 7-pound little dog was in a basket in the cart next to me, my golf cart, and he was hit directly by a balloon. So the rumors afoot are that frozen balloons will be used this year. And on Amazon, you can buy a Super Soaker Blaster automatic machine that, in their quote, drenches you in water, and it will shoot water 30 feet. So these are not the little squirt guns that we all grew up with. These are major blasters with big tanks. So I spoke to 4 officers about these events, sheriffs, and what could be done to keep this from happening. And they said that the city council has to enact an ordinance, and then it can be stopped. So drenching small children, damaging equipment, and harming the environment is not the purpose of the annual golf cart parade. So I'm asking the city council to please enact an ordinance to prevent this in the future. Thank you.
Well, Linda, I totally hear what you're saying. I got blasted on a boat in the head, and it's absolutely terrible. And they are adults. These are adults that are doing this stuff. So I'm sure we can take this under advisement. Thank you.
Hello there, Paul Birchall, Avalon Library. Thank you very much. As I think Ms. Judy and Ms. Val are going to say in a couple minutes, the Friends of Avalon Library are going to be having a book sale at the art festival coming up. We'll take your books. Come and donate your books. You can drop them off at the library, or you can contact Ms. Judy or Ms. Val and bring them all down. You got a library you want to get rid of, bring them on down. We'll take them. We use the money. The money goes to library programs, and such as coming up on the 28th, we're going to have the fabulous magician Artie Loon come to the library. He's going to do a really great afternoon of comedy magic for the kids. Coming up a little after that, like in very early April, I'm going to have an afternoon of sea shanties with shanty man Bill Dempsey. I've seen him on YouTube. He has got a great voice, and I think that's going to be a really popular event. It's going to sound really good. And then coming up just at the start of May, I'm going to have a little theater company come and do just a little small play for children in the courtyard. It's called the Storybook Theater. I think it's going to be an adaptation of Little House in the Big Woods, but don't quote me on that. I can't imagine how they're going to do that in like the 20-foot space I have. Other events, we're continuing our twice monthly history talk with Chuck Liddell. That's really sort of taking off. We're getting sort of a regular round of people who come to it. 30 seconds. So that's going to be a week from Wednesday. Then come see Make Mo, the science librarian, coming up at the top of the month. That's, I think, April 3rd. I'm trying to get our book club up and launched again. Right now, for the 28th, it's going to be Michael Cunningham's Day, a novel. Come to the meeting and we can talk about what we want to do for the next several months. I think that's all I'm going to do. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time. Bye.
Hello, I'm Judy Greer. I'm the president of the Friends of the Library, and our job is to raise money for all the things the library can't afford. So we've been doing that for years and years. And two things that we must do as part of the Friends is have a book sale twice a year. Luckily for us, Lola with the Art Association has given us a table 2 times a year at the art festivals. Last year we made so much money that we sent it all to Lahaina, to their library, to help them get back on their feet. This year I want to thank Josie of the White Buffalo, the thrift shop. She has given us tons and tons of books, and we appreciate that. The other is Helen Handy, who has gone over and gotten all these books. And my house, which is full of books, I can tell you that. And one thing I did ask people, and Val has been doing this, is putting it on Facebook and so on, is the library does not have room for all our books. I think you've noticed how small it is. All these used books cannot fit in there. So I've asked people, just put them on my porch. I'll find a place to put them until the book sale. And I live at 355 Descanso Avenue. When it rained, Annie's husband came and put them in my house for me. That was very nice. So that's basically what I have to say is please bring me books. We'll take them, we'll sell them, and we'll make money for our library and all the things that we try to do to supplement what Paul does. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other more oral communication?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Taylor Morones, and I live at 58 Cabrillo Drive. I come before you this evening to continue the necessary dialogue in regards to our school. The continued lack of support for our teachers, our students, and our parents is ongoing. I feel there is a complete lack of attention when it comes to our students, specifically the acceptable behavior and disrespectful language used on campus. Students who want to do well are impacted due to the unregulated behaviors of their peers, preventing education to really begin. We are not doing any favors for our students, for our community, by not addressing the issues when they arise. Our teachers, some more than others, have practically begged for our support. As a parent, I understand it is part of my job, but it is part of our job as a community to back up our school. It is not something that we are taking lightly, and our parents are gathering. However, I stand here before you with zero confidence in our school's administration. Our teachers are asking for our support. Our children's safety is at risk. Bullying is at an all-time high with little to no consequences. So why would it stop? Why would our parents now insert ourselves? Well, that's because we are putting an end to it. I'm here to tell you that I may not be the first, but I guarantee you I will not be the last. I have started discussions with the Assistant Superintendent, Long Beach Unified CAC, which is the Community Advisory Committee, and I am in the beginning stages of the communication with Board of Education. They have their big meeting in October, and I am rallying my troops. My goal is to bring as many people together so that we can work together as a team in a town hall style meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, sure.
I'd like to thank our community for the outreach that I've already received. My goal is to bring as many people together so that we can have a town hall style meeting, come up with solutions and not just with complaints. Our children deserve better, our teachers deserve better, our community deserves better. My goal is to come up with the problems, to find where we are lacking resources, and for anyone at home that is watching that has anything to add to this, give me a call.
Okay, thank you. Is that it? Oh, oral communications, any more? Yes, okay.
Good evening. My name's Chrissy Alegria. I'm reading a letter on behalf of Miss Julianne Guthrie. I've run through it a couple times. I do think it's going to be longer than 2 minutes, so I also have Ophelia Piguero here, if I can use her 2 minutes. City Council from Miss Julianne Guthrie. I was a teacher at Avalon K-12 school from fall 2021 through spring 2023. I initially taught a first and second grade combination class before I was moved to high school English. I wanted to serve the island community and its kids more than anything. This little town has my heart, and for 2 years, I truly felt it was my purpose and passion to teach Avalon students. Emma Piguero and the administration at Avalon K-12 did not support me in this endeavor, and so in June of 2023, I made the difficult decision to leave the school. This meant leaving the island, moving from my home, and tearing up the roots I had worked so hard to plant for myself. When speaking with various members of the community, it was brought to my attention that the challenges I had dealt with Avalon K-12 had only been amplified since my leaving. Because of this, I no longer feel comfortable remaining silent, and the inequities occurring at Avalon K-12. Here are some of my notes on my experience. Avalon K-12 currently has a culture of tolerance regarding student misconduct. Rather than the campus having a culture and climate of mutual respect, there has been an administrative shift to anything goes. Sorry. Children will naturally seek boundaries because they want to feel secure in their learning environment. But these boundaries teachers are placing are not being upheld by administration. This enables those escalation of student behaviors and prevents not just those students who are acting out, but in all their presence from learning. During my time at Avalon schools, Ms. Piguero treated requests for support with the mentality of if I ignore the issues, it may go away. The time she actually responded when asked for help, she was quick to pin fault for students' actions on teachers. Shifting blame was how she shifted responsibility from herself onto other staff. As teachers, we did everything in our power to maintain control over our classrooms. Implementing behavior plans, utilizing CHAMPs, writing SMART goals for teaching teams, attending hours upon hours of unpaid professional development. Without support from administration, however, it was like we're trying to build a house on sand.
Go ahead. Okay.
I was going to use...
Okay, whatever. Okay.
On several occasions, myself and other secondary teachers had to source our own support from others because we were met with blank stares from Ms. Piguero. I had to request daily advice from our campus staff assistant, safe and civil counsel, and induction coaches on how to deal with students screaming slurs, breaking holes in my room, and throwing scissors at each other. I had to escalate my pleas for help to the teacher union, school district, and human resources when high school students began harassing me in public and following me home. Emma Piguero's ultimate response to my persistence in seeking support for our students was to recommend my dismissal. I was pulled out of a freshman English class I was teaching and intimidated into signing a document that stated she wanted me non-reelected for rehire by the school district. The reason cited for this recommendation, Ms. Guthrie is in constant need of support. I am far from the only teacher who left the year because they needed support that was not being provided. As I'm sure you're all aware, Avalon K-12 has a high rate of turnover. Short staffing is often blamed on the distance of the island and lack of teachers willing to make the commute. This is not the case. Many wonderful teachers are willing to sacrifice time with their families. Early hours and late night commuting on the boats, all to serve your children, on the condition that they are supported and protected by school administration. This is the reason that good and decent educators are fleeing the island. During the past school year, several teachers have sought help from the district, from the families of students, from the union, and now we're turning to you because we have exhausted our other options. City Council, your website states your mission to serve the best interests of all citizens of Avalon. These issues I have presented extend to our entire city. Students at your school are no longer receiving a quality education because there because teachers are having to fight tooth and nail for support. These students are becoming adults who live and work in your community without basic understandings of respect and responsibility. I moved to the island to become a part of the community to build a home. I came here to foster an environment where social emotional learning was valued and children felt safe. But instead of using positive reinforcement and disciplining actions that prevent learning, Avalon Schools Administration is enabling vandalism, stalking, harassment, and other criminal behaviors by telling teachers to buck up and deal with it. These island kids are just different. This is not the type of establishment that I want or any decent educator wants to have their name tied to. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are many other concerns I have with how the school is being run, including but not limited to teacher evaluations, consistency and structure of induction meetings, curriculum support, delegation or responsibility on teacher terms. But as an educator, my main focus is the safety and learning of our community's children, neither of which are being supported by the current school administration. Thank you for the extra time, and have a good night.
Would you give that letter to? Okay. Anybody else?
Hello, my name's Carla Lupo, and recently we've had meetings with our principal. I invited our honorable mayor to attend one of those meetings, and we noticed that the dress code was right away obvious. We need that back. How can we implement the dress code? That's a standard policy in our district. Another thing is the water. It hasn't been tested for safety or anything that I know of as far as asking for help from our district members to see if it's safe for our children to drink. We don't have available water that is, in their grasp after PE, after lunchtime. They have to purchase it from the cafeteria, and I don't believe that's fair or reasonable. The definition of integrity is the quality of being honest and demonstrating a consistent and unwavering commitment to strong moral and ethical principles. It encompasses truthfulness, earnestness, and incorruptibility in one's actions. Equity, the definition in LBUSD. Equity in LBUSD signifies taking decisive action to eradicate systemic racism and discrimination that adversely affects students based on their race, culture, disability, economic background, etc. It's supposed to level the playing field. Over here, I don't feel that it's equal. Somehow we've slipped through the cracks and we are not being seen. I request that we find out how to get our district to view our campus on site and get some responsibility and accountability for what we're doing right now as a city, community, and for our students that are the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Going once? Going twice? Okay, thank you very much. Public hearing?
Okay, our public hearing tonight is TDA Article 8 hearing. We do have representatives online. If we could open up their mics, Jamie. This is, we'd ask council to open the public hearing and accept comments from the public upon its conclusion.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. My name is Armina Saint. I'm part of Metro's local programming department, and I'm the project manager for TDA 8 Unmet Needs program. Thank you for this opportunity to conduct a TDA 8 Unmet Needs public hearing in Avalon. We have prepared an opening remarks that explains the reason for conducting this hearing and the next steps. And I would like to introduce Juan Miranda, a team member, and he would start with the process. Juan, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thanks, Armine. Good evening. Thanks again on behalf of Metro for allowing us the opportunity to hold our public hearing during your city council meeting. So I'll go start with our opening remarks here. So good afternoon. The public portion of this meeting is held to hear testimony regarding the allocation of Transportation Development Act, TDAA, Article 8 funds, the California Transportation Development Act, enacted in 1972, Senate Bill 325, provides the major source of state funds to support public transit services. 1/4 of a cent is collected as part of the statewide retail sales tax in this county and placed in the local transportation fund TDAA 3, 4, and 8, which is used to support public transportation within the county. The TDAA funds are divided as follows. TDA 4 recipients receive approximately 91%. TDA 3 is capped at 2%, and TDA Article 8 receives approximately a 6% share. By statute, most of the money, the 90% share in Los Angeles County, goes to support the operation of our regional bus service, Metro, and the municipal operators such as Long Beach Transit and Santa Monica. These services are funded in part by TDA Article 4. Additionally, some of the funds are used to support facilities for pedestrians and bicycles. This is known as TDA Article 3 for the 2% share. Article 8 of the TDA requires that a proportional share based on population, approximately 6% share of the sales tax revenue, will be allocated to those areas in the county that do not have Metro service because they are located outside Metro's service area. These areas are in the Santa Clarita Valley, the Antelope Valley, and Catalina Island. Transit needs can be reasonably met through an expansion of existing transportation systems by establishing new systems or by contracting the services. However, if there are no unmet transit needs which can be reasonably met with these funds, the funds may be used for local public streets and roads purposes. While the purpose of these hearings is to determine how TDAA Article 8 funds should be allocated, your testimony about transit needs may be useful to local decision makers who are planning possible uses for Proposition A, Proposition C, Measure R, and Measure M funds. Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, also known as LACMTA or Metro, holds a public hearing each year to determine what transit needs exist in your community before recommending how these funds should be allocated. Metro staff will compile your comments along with the comments made by all the hearings, including written comments received before the deadline. The Social Service Transportation Advisory Council, composed of local residents and social service providers, will consider your comments and make a recommendation to the TDA 8 Hearing Board. The Hearing Board will make a recommendation to the full Metro Board. The Metro Board will act in June or July to make the findings about the use of TDA Article 8 funds in your community. The Metro Board's recommendation will be forwarded to the state in Sacramento for review and approval. If you wish to submit written comments in addition to or instead of testifying verbally, the record for all hearings will be kept open for 2 weeks after the conclusion of the public hearings. Written comments must be received by April 2nd, 2024 for all affected areas. Your written comments should be submitted to the following address: Armene Saint, TDA Article 8 Hearing, Metropolitan Transportation Authority, Mail Stop 99-4-3, 1 Gateway Plaza, Los Angeles, California 90012, or may be emailed to sainta, that's SAINTA @metro.net. The public testimony portion of the hearing will begin. Please remember to state your name and any organization you represent. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to open the public hearing. Anyone have any comments or suggestions? And we can talk about this after we close the hearing? Okay. Seeing there are no comments, are any written comments? No. Okay. close the public hearing. So, question, how much money do we typically get each year through 8 and A and B and everything?
Are you asking Juan, or are you asking?
Well, I don't, Juan, do you know how much money we get every year approximately? Oh.
Yes, if there is a bit, Armini, did you want me to pull those numbers up?
Hi there.
Would you like, would you like all the fundings? Because we don't, at this time, we don't have all the fundings that flows through different, measures and propositions. Would you like that? We can get that for you.
Well, I know you've been doing this every year. Do you have an idea what our average has been? For TDA?
I'm sorry, I can't, I don't know all the amounts. I can't even average it.
Okay.
All right, Devin, do you have that number?
I'm sorry, we're developing the budget, and I'm not sure if we even have that. Juan, do we?
Okay, well, hold on one second.
So our land transit and subsidy system is funded through TDA Article 8 and Metro Prop A funds. And TDA Article 8, I believe, is around $200,000 annually.
Okay, and how have we?
That sounds right.
Okay, and how have we been using that? On repairing our roads?
All of our TDA Article 8 funding goes towards our transit system, our land transit system. So, and there's a fare offset, so that's one reason with Circuit why we have to charge a fare, is because at least 20% of our fare box has to come in and offset the program.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you. Well, I wish you could help repair our roads a little bit too, but if we need all.
We're working on that.
Okay, thank you.
On that note, I was over town this last week. Our roads aren't as bad as some of the other cities that I traversed. Speaking like Ocean Boulevard, it's bad. But I mean, ours are not the best, but we are not. It's one of those things I look at when I'm traversing on the road in the real world, comparing our island that is on our city that's on an island. So yeah.
Okay. All right, so. What's that?
No.
So that's it?
That's it.
Okay.
You closed the public
Yes,
hearing? Yeah.
yes. And then I asked a question. Okay, consent calendar.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
See you next year.
Thank you.
Okay, consent calendar, first item, approval of the minutes from the March 5th, 2024 regular city council meeting. Item 3, warrants, approve total expenditures for February 26, 2024 through March 8, 2024 totaling $697,944.62. Item 4, authorize city manager or their designee to procure 3 new Ford Maverick trucks from, that should read BP Ford, utilizing funds in the Vehicle Replacement Fund 13825-6781 for a total amount of not to exceed $91,000. And finally, item 5 is adopt the digital signs and lobby screen policy.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions on any of these? Do you want to pull any, or we just?
Can I just ask a question
Sure.
without pulling it? Are the trucks, are they hybrids or electric, or are they all gas?
They're not electric, they're gas vehicles. Our lead time on the hybrids and electrics was, I think, closer 18 months plus. And yeah, we find ourselves in a spot where we have to get vehicles. So, and some of the vehicles actually for public works, we need to have, I'm sorry, Jackie, need to have the ability to tow a certain capacity that we had to have the gas. Some of them would have had to been gas anyway, so.
Yeah, so we tried for hybrid, and as the lead time for those were a year to the very least. We went with gas for the towing capability. We also need it right away. We have an aging infrastructure and the vehicles, and it's just, we're past due on what we need. So 2 of the vehicles are going to Public Works, 1 is going to code enforcement, and the lead time on those are 8 to 10 weeks. So a lot shorter than.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why we went with that, but we are still looking into hybrids, electrical infrastructure for sure on the future.
All right, cool, thank you.
Well, there's that one code, that one truck that has the camper shell on the back, and it's so funny, it goes down the street, it goes, I can see him coming, so, anyway, so I'll be glad that that's not squeaking anymore.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, council, what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve items 1 through 5.
Can I pull actually item 5? Can we do 1 through 4 first? Sure. 5 separate? I just had some questions on it before we go.
I think 2 through.
2 through, yeah.
1 through 4.
2 through 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Item 1 was the public hearing.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
I'll second items 2 through 4.
Yep.
Call for the vote?
Councilmember Lavelle?
Aye.
Councilmember Schickling?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ponce?
Aye.
Mayor Marshall?
Aye.
All ayes, or excuse me, 4 ayes, 1 absent, Councilmember De La Rosa.
On item 5, I just had a question on, so for digital sign and lobby screen, is this both to be at City Hall, one inside, one outside? Is that what I'm understanding, or are they both inside?
What we have currently we have we have screens inside the lobby at City Hall that you can see.
Yeah.
We also have 2 that are in boxes that are here that are going to be in the city.
Okay.
One is going to be on the side near the mole, just outside float 4, just
Okay.
down from that. And the other one is a location to be determined that are interactive screens that will work with our transit system, work with our, we can post meetings there, we can post events there with the city. They have cameras built in, they can take photographs.
That was my question.
Yes.
Thank you.
They're going to be out there, you're going to see them.
Yeah.
We purchased these in June when we purchased the vehicles.
Yeah.
This is all part of, and hopefully we have 2 of them here, and if they work, we're looking to expand that down the road.
That was my question, was cameras, just to make sure that they were, because the lobby signage makes sense to me, but I was worried about them being out there without having some level of security, so.
Yep, well, they have cameras in them, and not only will the cameras be able to protect them, they're also, I guess they're not selfies because the machine's taking the picture, but they would take pictures of whoever is
people if they want
interacting
to.
with them, and you could have your own picture taken and be part of that system. So-
Okay.
Cool.
So I'll move to approve item 5 then, thank you.
And then I saw some other stuff about posting on there, or advertising, blah, 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 blah. But stuff like, God forbid we start losing the reservoir again. Put the reservoir level on there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Public
kind of
information we're
stuff.
looking to do, that kind
Okay.
of stuff, yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay,
Events,
cool.
when their events are in town, yes. Schedules of the express, additional boats, things like that.
Cool.
Cool.
So there's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Call for the vote?
Councilmember Lavelle?
Aye.
Councilmember Schickling?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ponce?
Aye.
Mayor Marshall?
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent, Councilmember De La Rosa.
Item number 6.
Okay, general business, item 6, originally Antonio's Pizzeria and Deli lease agreement. At this time, we are asking for permission to authorize the city manager to execute a lease amendment with originally Antonio's Pizzeria and Deli. And Cindy is here if there's any questions, but we have met with Cindy and Mike Cassidy, the new owners of Antonio's, about extending the footprint of the lease concerning the tables that were out there to them as the new tenants of that space. It is really just limited to that area along the wall in front of their business. And we met with them, met with Cindy last week, and I think we're all on the same page as far as what their needs are. It's not going to extend around the corner. It's not going to extend in front of any other businesses. And they're in compliance with all the other original lease requirements that I think council adopted way back when, originally with Jack's, that expanded over time, I guess. So I feel comfortable we're on the same page now.
Cindy, would you like to make a comment, or does anybody have any questions? No, we're all happy for you.
Well, I was going to bring you a cheese crisp tonight, but that would have been inappropriate. So just know that the thought was there. I guess I could have brought it
You
for
could have
everybody
just
else.
brought it for the audience.
I could have brought it for staff. And yeah. We're super excited, obviously. We appreciate the city moving so quickly. Devin, thank you very much for helping us get this on agenda so quickly. The only thing I'd like to ask is the official name of the restaurant is Original Antonio's Pizzeria. It, over its 47 years, has about 11 different business names on different things, and so we are gonna try to just be kind of Antonio's Pizza, and with the Island Company doing a new concept with what was the Antonio's Cabaret, it'll be nice because the Antonio's will just be Antonio's. That'll be where you get your pizza, or the Buffalo Nickel, or Three Palms, whatever you choose. But
So what do
I
you-
just want
or
to
the
make
brew
sure
house.
the name is corrected.
So the name is
Thank
the
you.
original Antonio's Pizzeria.
That's its official name.
Take off Andeli.
And deli goes away.
Okay. All right. Is there a
I'll
motion?
I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute a lease amendment with Original Antonio's Pizzeria.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. No further comments or questions. Call for the vote.
Councilmember Lavelle?
Aye.
Councilmember Schickling?
Resounding yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ponce?
Aye.
Mayor Marshall?
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent, Councilmember De La Rosa.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Item 7, Vehicle Citation Amnesty Program Round 2. Jocelyn Francis is here to lay this out.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. So last calendar year, City Council approved a limited term vehicle citation amnesty program, and during that time, 17 vehicle owners took advantage. And of those 17, 7 vehicles were removed from the island. We've received inquiries now that it's vehicle season if we're bringing back the amnesty program. And so I'm here with a recommendation to bring back the amnesty program in a limited form. Last year there was the opportunity for folks to get on a payment plan where 50% of outstanding citations would be eliminated. Tonight, I'm recommending to only move forward with the amnesty program in which fines and penalties would be waived upon relinquishment of the golf cart to the city. I think that's like a huge public benefit to get some of these vehicles off the street. It helps folks clear their names of outstanding fines and citations. I think the long-term goal, working with the sheriff's office, is to get some sort of a tow yard to help with all of, with folks that have these recurring citations and outstanding fines. Although we're not recommending the 50% payment plan option, California state law requires that cities have a payment program in place in general. So even though we're not asking for approval tonight, folks can still apply for a payment program if they're unable to afford a citation that they may receive, a parking citation. They can apply for a payment program. They just have to show proof of a low-income status. That's my recommendation for this evening. That's it.
You're sticking to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just have a question. So I guess somebody has, I don't know, tens of thousands or thousands of dollars worth of fines. That could be anywhere from parking in a handicap parking spot, right?
Mhm.
To whatever. Okay, so they come, they have a payment plan, or they turn in this car. What's gonna keep them from getting another vehicle and doing the same thing?
Sure, and I think that's well, so there's lots of different options. So we contract with Data Ticket, is our parking citation processing vendor, and so they send outstanding citations to collections, put DMV registration holds on the vehicles, can even intercept the funds versus the state of California FTB program. So there are other options. I think the difficulty here is if somebody is unwilling to register their vehicle appropriately anyways, and the information that they've provided is not accurate, then that's where you get folks that, just to your point, keep accruing citations. And that's where really a tow yard would come into play and be super helpful in making it more difficult for folks to rack up these fines. So
I mean, the people that, okay, you said you have one person,
On the front page.
yeah, how much was it, $10,000? I mean, that person should not be allowed to have a vehicle in Avalon. I mean, I don't know, I don't even know if the person is still here, but that's insanity. That we, and whatever the data collection people, that's not working either. You know, and somehow if they're still driving, they're playing the game. And I think there should be something that's just a little, and $10,000 over how many years, do you think?
Oh, that's, over years and years and years of accumulation. That's not something that's accumulated within a 12-month period or something like this, yeah. And I should add in here, this program would only be available to those who haven't partaken before. So if they signed up for the amnesty program last year, that was a one and done deal. This is for anybody who did not participate in the year prior.
And so there's really no way we're ever gonna get that $10,000. Probably.
No.
Probably, yeah. It depends on the situation of the person, but if they're going to the DMV, if they're paying taxes, there's a lot of different ways that data ticket gets reimbursed, or the city gets reimbursed for those funds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not even saying that that person's gonna participate. This is just saying that there is someone out there, because the program was last year, so if this accrued over years and years and years, they must have had, at least 8,000 last year.
Yeah.
So they might just
But we just can't remove the vehicle off the island. Is it the same, do we know if with things like those repeat offenders, it's the same vehicle that's causing the same all these problems?
Sure, yeah, there's for sure, obviously the repeat offenders, yeah.
It seems like there should be something we could do. I'm sorry.
Until we have somewhere to tow them, we have.
Yeah.
Well, put them in my driveway, I don't care, I mean, that's
So we'd have
just
to amend the
ridiculous.
vehicle code or something
Well,
like that?
the difficulty, Mayor, is that something like that, so that individual is not going to the DMV and getting plates, they're not getting their sticker, they're not working where they have tax returns that could be grabbed. They're flying under the radar and just not even trying to participate. So it's not like data ticket's not doing their job, but they're not allowing themselves to be put in that position where they could be impacted by it. They're simply driving a car that probably hasn't been plated in years.
Okay, do we know that, don't we have a boot? I thought we had a boot.
We have a few,
Sure.
we have a couple boots, we've used that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's boot him, or boot her, whoever it is. Yeah, I mean, because I mean, they're just laughing at us. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Well, I think that's why we're saying, let's just get it out of here. We're done.
Well, I
Stop.
know, but and then they're gonna
Get it
come
on the
back
barge.
and then again next year. I mean, so, but when they're that obsessive, anything over, I think $2,000 or $3,000, that we should boot them.
Yeah, I think it gets to the point where people are so underwater. There is absolutely $10,000, there is no way that most folks in our community could ever get out from underneath that. So I think this program is a way to help them out.
But
so.
to not make any attempt and not come forward, that's not very,
Well, there's always bad apples, but
Exactly.
I think by and large, this program is a really good thing.
I do too, but these obsessive ones, I'd like us to see us give them the boot.
And they tend to be like the older golf carts and things like that have higher emissions and are louder, and so I think there may be a benefit to,
Okay.
that additional.
I think it's a
benefit.
good program that makes sense, and I was actually gonna ask if we could extend it to all two-stroke golf carts and just say, cool, give us the license and off you go.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, so something I forgot to mention is we accumulated around this was like maybe a month or two ago, 7 abandoned golf carts. Jamie and Miguel found a recycler over town that was willing to take them. And so the city did get some reimbursement. I mean, not millions of dollars or anything like
Right.
that, but there was some funding that came back to the city for that program, so.
No, I agree on putting some kind of a sunset clause on two-strokes. I don't think it's in this one, but.
No, but similar
yeah,
too, if we can
exactly.
get through this part of it first,
Yeah.
get through those that need to be booted and either towed somewhere or removed.
And then if we
go
tout
through.
our new public transportation system,
Yeah.
then maybe some things won't be so necessary. We'll see. Okay, anyway,
I'll make a motion to adopt, or is there any, did you want to do any more public comment or?
any public comment? No? Okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution establishing guidelines for limited-term vehicle citation amnesty program, reducing fine amounts for outstanding vehicle code and City of Avalon municipal code infractions for individuals meeting eligibility requirements.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, call for the vote.
Councilmember Lavelle?
Aye.
Councilmember Schickling?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ponce?
Aye.
Mayor Marshall?
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent. Councilmember De La Rosa.
Okay, great, thank you. Item number 8.
Item number 8 is a request to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Partner Engineering and Science, Inc. to perform construction monitoring, funding control, and disbursement for the Catalina Island Health Avalon Hospital Development Project. What this is as council knows, Measure H was adopted and passed into legislation. It is a collection of a tax mainly on wharfage. That will, on April 1st, increase to its cap of $2 per individual traveling to Avalon. That tax is collected by the city and is a pass-through from the city for the construction of the new hospital. To date, those invoices that have been submitted to the city have been reviewed primarily by Matt Baker, myself, and Jocelyn Francis. At this level, we feel comfortable doing it, but we can see that as this project progresses, this is going to go beyond our scope as far as having the knowledge to review those invoices and to be able to adequately assure the taxpayers that what we're approving is within the scope of that project. So what this company does, and they've worked on the island, they worked on the museum project, that's their expertise. They can be the third party, both for us and the hospital, to review these invoices and to be able to sign off on them and to give everybody assurances that they are what they say they are. I think we're going to reach that point very soon, which I view as a positive, again, for the hospital, that they're progressing down this path where they're going to eventually get to the point where we need experts to review that to protect us as a city. We just don't have the bandwidth to do it. So that's what this is. And we think that depending on, we're looking, we think it's going to be a positive for the city, but we also think down the road with the projects we have coming on, we might expand this contract and come back to you and say, whether it's the mole project or other projects, we might also need them. So we'd ask the support to pass this.
Are there any questions or comments? Okay. Council?
I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Partner Engineering and Science, Inc. to perform construction monitoring, funding control, and disbursement for the Catalina Island Health Avalon Hospital Development Project.
I'll second.
Moved to second, call for the vote.
Councilmember Lavelle?
Aye.
Councilmember Schickling?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ponce?
Aye.
Mayor Marshall?
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent. Councilmember De La Rosa.
There's no further action. Meeting is adjourned.
Good night.